So, the first animal I want to talk about is chickens. The discovery of vitamin D allowed farmers to keep chickens confined all year round. Before, it was difficult to raise chickens during the winter. Egg production, meat production, and incubation were more difficult. In the 30s and early 50s, 1,500 hens could provide a full time job for a farm family in America. Egg prices started to fall dramatically, so farmers started to triple the amount of hens they had, keeping three chickens in cages that were originally meant for one. Things got worse. By the late 50s, large farms and packing plants could grow birds by the tens of thousands. On average, a chicken only lays one egg a day, but not every day of the year. That is, if you're talking about naturally. In 1900, the average egg production was 83 eggs per year. By 2000, it was over 300 eggs a year. Chickens also grow to market weight in 6 to 7 weeks, but 50 years ago it took 3 times as long. This is because of genetic selection and nutritional modifications, not growth hormones. These are illegal for chickens in the US and other countries, not to mention that growth hormones wouldn't work. The reason growth hormones aren't used is probably not for the sake of the chicken's well being, but to prevent danger to humans. However, there are a huge number of other risks posed to humans from the current practices we do to chickens. So let's get started. Newborn chickens are placed on a conveyor belt where the workers check if they're male or female. There are large amounts of chickens on the belt as soon as they're born. Newborn males are gathered up in trash bags and killed immediately, since farms don't need them. The chickens are either suffocated, decapitated, gassed, crushed, or ground alive. Baby chicks often fall into the crevices of the machine. They're trapped and then they die. There's so many chickens being passed down the conveyor belt that no one tries to really prevent this. The female chicks are picked up and then they have their beaks cut off with a hot iron. No painkiller is used. The process is not only painful when it's being done, but hurts for a long time afterwards because the beak is filled with sensitive nerves. Debeaking involves slicing bone, cartilage, and soft tissue. 5 to 8 birds are crammed into 14-inch cages each. The space is so small that the birds can't even stretch their wings. Now, minimal reforms are passed outside of America, but nothing significant. The conditions are still horrible, and the only countries which have really passed meaningful legislation would be countries such as Sweden, Norway, and Switzerland. And often, the typical regulations that are added in most countries around the world, like less birds in a cage uh, or a few extra inches of space, these are often not enforced, and when whistleblowers check, they find the regulations are ignored. Chickens naturally form a social order if they're left alone. Due to all the chickens being crammed together, this is disrupted. This, combined with stress and most likely sensory deprivation, causes the birds to become aggressive. Debeaking is done to prevent the birds from pecking each other because a corpse covered in peck marks is less profitable. Similar to other animals on factory farms, stressed chickens resort to cannibalism. Cage floors slope to the bottom, and the cages are made of uncomfortable wire, which chafes skin, bruises, rips out feathers, and deforms their feet. Weaker hens are often crushed at the base of the cage. 1 in 5 die from stress and disease. Others are turned into animal feed. Manipulation of light is used to increase egg size and production. Thus, the animals lay more eggs, at times their bodies wouldn't naturally. At the end of their laying cycle, they're either killed or subjected to a final process known as forced molting. Chickens are kept in darkness and not given food and water for 18 days. This shocks the body into a new laying cycle. Many die from fatigue. Broiler chickens are bred to be so heavy their bones can't support their weight. They have difficulty standing and their legs often break. They're raised in overcrowded areas and become aggressive, so their beaks and toes are cut off with no painkiller. Chickens breathe in ammonia gas every day. Because of this and other horrible conditions, they are subject to bacterial infections, lung problems, broken bones, and crippled legs, among a even larger host of issues.